Good morning. My name is John Catrone. I represent Mr. Balthazar. And if I may, I wanted to begin with Justice Wells indicating initially that the ID issue and the issue that, as we've been talking, was the wrong guy. What also was a highlight in the state's case was the principal instruction. In fact, the opinion talks about how they made that the centerpiece of their prosecution, which is typical in co-defendant cases where, like in this case, you have an ID issue and the fallback position is, well, in case you have problems with the identification and the other evidence in the case, I do have this instruction for you that the judge is going to read you, the principal instruction. What's important here is not only did they highlight it, but what's talked about in Zeno and Tricaricio is that that does not cure the problem with the and/or instruction. What it does is it exacerbates it.
The district courts don't explain that statement, though. You know, that's kind of puzzling.
Well, what I think was being argued is in the principal instruction itself, it talks about that each individual, when that instruction is read, whether it's once, twice, or 100 times, it talks about each defendant has the conscious intent that a criminal act is going to occur. That being said, along with the and/or instruction, is completely confusing to a jury. Initially, in the first instruction, they hear this and/or instruction, and then they hear, well, wait a minute, each defendant has to have a conscious intent that a crime occurs. They're just not, they cannot be put together.
So you don't agree with the approach of the 3rd District and even Judge Klein's dissent that it depends on the facts of the case? Are you espousing a principle that it's a principle of law that it's always fundamental error?
I don't want to interrupt, but absolutely not. I oppose that. I believe it's a per se. I think whenever
it's a per se rule.
Yes, and
so
I think
disagree with Judge Klein.
Well, and I think when Judge
That's your client, because he specifically doesn't find a fundamental error as to your client.